August 2002. You are 17 years old and one of the most powerful football clubs on the planet is trying to buy you. You don't own a car. You eat chicken and rice in a canteen. You sleep in a dormitory at a football academy on the edge of the Tagus estuary, 20 minutes outside Lisbon. Your bag has one broken zip. You have lived here since you were 12, since you left an island in the middle of the Atlantic with your mother crying at the departure gate and your father staring at the floor. You are Cristiano Ronaldo, and in 6 days you will sign for Manchester United. But right now, on the evening of August 6, 2002, you are standing in the tunnel of a brand new stadium that still smells of fresh concrete, and the only thing you are thinking about is the man you are about to face on the right wing. His name is Gary Neville, England's first-choice right-back for 7 years, 27 years old, 45 international caps, a player who has marked Thierry Henry, Roberto Carlos, the Brazilian Ronaldo. He has spent his entire professional career learning how to stop players exactly like you. The club he plays for is Manchester United. Their manager, Sir Alex Ferguson, is sitting in the director's box tonight with a notepad on his knee. You pull your socks up and walk out into the noise. 50,000 people. The Estadio José Alvalade opened 4 days ago. This inauguration match is supposed to be a formality, a celebration, friendly football with nothing at stake. You do not play friendly football. You have never played a match in your life where you were not trying to prove something to someone. That is not arrogance, that is just how you are built. It has been that way since you were 8 years old running a hill in Madeira until your legs gave out, then running it again. The referee blows his whistle. You receive the ball for the first time in the 7th minute. You are deep on the right flank, Neville tight behind you. You roll him with your first touch, shift the ball to the outside and accelerate past him before he can reset. He recovers, he makes the tackle, ball out for a throw. You jog back into position. You are not frustrated, you are reading him. Every touch is information. The second time you get the ball, you go inside. You beat him again. He puts a hand on your back, just enough to break your stride. The referee gives it. You take the free kick quickly and move into space. By the third time, something in the stadium changes. You receive it in space. Neville is 2 meters off you, showing you inside, cover waiting behind him. You feint outside, his weight shifts, you cut back inside. He is half a step slow, and that half step is all you need. You are through the gap before he closes it. The ball is already past him. You don't celebrate, you don't look back, you get into position for the next phase. The noise that comes from the stands is not polite, it is not applause, it is 50,000 people reacting to something they have not seen before on this pitch, something that does not seem possible from a 17-year-old who 4 years ago was playing street football on a steep, narrow road on an island most of these people have never visited. In the second half, Neville is deeper. He is talking to Rio Ferdinand, pointing at angles, reshaping the defensive shape to account for you. You notice it immediately. You file it away. You find the space he has vacated and you work in it. The pocket between him and the center back that opens up every time he pushes across to cut off your run down the line. You find it twice in the last 20 minutes. Both times the crowd reacts the same way. Ferguson's notepad stays mostly blank. He watches. After the final whistle, you shake hands on the pitch, swap shirts, shower, eat in the canteen, rice, chicken, water. You take the bus back to the academia with the rest of the squad. The other players talk. You sit with your headphones in and watch the city pass outside the window. You go to sleep. You do not know what is happening on the other side of the city. In the hotel where the Manchester United delegation is staying, Ferguson sits with his assistant manager, Carlos Queiroz. Queiroz is Portuguese. He has been watching you for months. He recommended you to Ferguson in the spring after seeing you in a youth match, and Ferguson trusted him enough to make the trip to Lisbon for this fixture. Tonight was not a revelation to Queiroz, it was a confirmation. The two of them sit in the hotel room and talk for a long time. They talk about your age, your physical development, your temperament, your technical profile, whether you are ready for the Premier League at 17 or whether you need another season at Sporting to mature. They go back and forth. By the end of the conversation, there is no more back and forth. In another room, Gary Neville calls his brother Phil. The call is short. The following morning, the Lisbon sports newspapers run 3 back pages with your photograph, a bola, record, o jogo, all 3. One caption reads, "The new Ronaldo? You are 17 years old. You read it over breakfast in the canteen. You fold the paper. You put it on the tray. You go to training." 2 days later, your agent, George Mendes, receives a call from Manchester United. Mendes is 26 years old. He started managing footballers out of a small office in Porto 4 years ago with almost no connections and no reputation in the industry. You are one of his first major clients. He believed in you before the newspapers did. When the call comes from Manchester United, he does not celebrate. He picks up a pen and starts writing numbers on a notepad. The first offer from United is below £10 million. Mendes declines without hesitation. He calls Sporting's president, João Azevedo, and tells him what has happened. Azevedo tells him to handle it. Mendes calls Manchester United back. The number goes up. They go back and forth for several days.
You are not in these conversations. You are at the academia running double sessions, the same way you have every day for 5 years. You know something is happening. Your coaches look at you differently in the days after the match. Not badly, carefully. The way people look at something they know they are about to lose. One of the youth coaches who has worked with you since you were 13 stops you after a session and puts his hand on your shoulder and says something. You nod. You walk back to the dormitory. The number reaches £12 million. It is the highest fee ever paid for a teenager in the history of English football. Sporting accept. Azevedo signs the authorization. The deal moves to contracts. Meanwhile, in Manchester, the city is already talking. The English press have picked up the story from the Portuguese papers. Footage from the United match is circulating. Clips of you turning Neville. Clips of that third run, the one where he shifts his weight and you are already gone. Fans on forums are asking who you are. Some of them are skeptical. 17 years old, they write. Never played a full season in the top flight. £12 million is a lot of money for a kid from Portugal nobody has heard of. Some of them are not skeptical. They have watched the clip 4 or 5 times and they are not skeptical at all. You are at the academia eating breakfast. You do not read English. August 11th, 2002. You are called into an administrative office at the academia. Small room, 1 desk, 2 chairs, a window that looks out over the car park. A man from Sporting's legal department sits on one side of the desk. Your agent stands near the wall. Papers are laid out in front of you. You sit down. The man explains the transfer, the fee, the structure, the dates. You listen carefully. You do not ask many questions. There is one detail you ask him to confirm. The contract assigns you the number 7 shirt at Manchester United. Eric Cantona wore it, the Frenchman who transformed the club in the 90s, who scored goals that people still describe with their hands, who retired in 1997 and left a number behind him that felt impossible to fill. David Beckham wore it after Cantona. Beckham was sold to Real Madrid earlier this summer after years of being the most famous footballer on earth, and the shirt came open. It has been empty for 2 months. It is waiting. The man confirms it. You nod. You pick up the pen. You sign on August 12, 2002. You are 17 years old, born on the island of Madeira, raised in a house with 4 children and 1 income, and a father who came home late on certain nights. You arrived at this academy at 12 years old with 1 bag and a broken zip, and an accent that made the other boys laugh. You cried twice in the first 2 weeks, both times at night, both times alone. You decided after the second time that you were finished crying, and you never did it again. Not here, not in front of anyone who could see. You pack the bag. Same bag, same broken zip. You walk through the academia one last time. The training pitches are empty in the early morning light. The groundskeeper who used to watch you practice alone after dark is near the gate. He nods at you. You nod back. You get into the car. The city moves past the window, then the estuary, then the road to the airport. You have made this drive before in reverse, 5 years ago, arriving from Funchal with everything you owned in 1 bag and your mother's voice still in your ears telling you to pray before bed. You board the plane. It banks north over the Atlantic. Below, the coast of Portugal gets small. The brown hills, the river mouth, the city. The stadium you played in 6 days ago, the one that still smells of fresh concrete, the one where 50,000 people watched you do something to Gary Neville that nobody who was there will forget. It gets small, then smaller. Manchester is 4 days from the start of a new Premier League season. It is raining. You land. Most people know the name. Not everyone knows the story behind it. That's what we do here. If that's the kind of content you want more of, subscribe. Leave a comment telling us whose story you want next.